Hi everyone, my name is Richard Santoro and I welcome you to Third and Zen, the YouTube channel where every week I'm sharing a spiritual message to nourish ourselves, heart, mind, body, and soul. Okay, today I want to talk about Spider-Man and Three Christmases, and that title sounds really cool, so I hope everything I'm going to say, the message and all that is as cool and fruitful as that title actually is. So let's talk about Spider-Man really quick. I like Spider-Man. He's not at the top of my superhero or comic book list, but he's awesome. How do you not like Spider-Man? You know, Marvel's the face of Marvel in terms of comic books, you know, the franchise's #1 seller, and then all the history of Spider-Man and the cartoon shows and the movies and all of it. I love Spider-Man. How could you not? Great character and a lot of great depictions. And two really important people to me, two people that I love. One of my best friends, big Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man is important to him and someone that he has connected with for his whole life. And with the movies, big fan of the movies and all the MCU movies and the Spider-Man movies. So, and he likes, and some spoilers here, really likes, he leans a little bit more into the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man because that's the movies he watched, at a younger age. So they had a bigger impact. But of course, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland ones, loves all three of them. And then my niece, who's 4 years old, she loves the Spider-Man world as well. And she's more into the Gwen Stacy, the Spider-Girl character that she portrays in the cartoons and the comic book characters. Spider-Man is such a vast, big, diverse universe, and then you have the multiverse that Spider-Man includes. You have all these iterations and types of Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider-Creatures, villains, backstories, all of it. You had the recent cartoon movies, Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, which are absolute masterpieces. So you really have, when you say Spider-Man, it covers a giant canvas of so much between characters, iterations, stories, TV shows, movies, books, all of it. There's a lot to it when you say Spider-Man. And you know what? It's also the same way with Christmas. You like that little segue there? It's also the same way with Christmas. But I've narrowed Christmas down to really 3 Christmases that most of us in general tend to have a relationship with. First, of course, you have the religious, the Christian Christmas, the stories that come from the gospel according to Matthew and the gospel according to Luke, the nativity stories, everything associated with it, everything associated with church Christmas, the pageants, yes, of course, the nativity, the worship services, the season of Advent, and all the symbols and rituals and stories and worship practices that are included with the Christian religious Christmas. So that's number 1. Number 2, we also have our own personal Christmases, our family Christmases, the people we have relationships with that we celebrate and what we do, the activities, whether it's work, the office Christmas party, or the different families and loved ones that we spend parts of the Christmas holiday season with, or Christmas Eve, the 7 fishes, or Christmas Day. Everything we do within our lives, the responsibilities that we put upon ourselves or that are put upon us, the obligations, everything that we do personally, because everybody does something a little different. Everybody has their own traditions and how they function and celebrate during the holiday season, during Christmas. So that's number 2. We'll call that our personal, our family type Christmas. And then number 3, we have the outside world. Some people would say maybe the secular Christmas, but I don't like using that word because that word's judgy. That word is exclusionary. It's like we're religious and Christian, and then you have the secular world. So I'm gonna call this one more our cultural Christmas, which we get draped over us throughout this entire holiday season. The cultural Christmas, and I'm not saying this with any criticism, I enjoy a great deal of it. It's the holiday movies. It's you go on to Netflix or your streaming services and scroll through holiday movies, and it's all about the romance, the families. It's the same colors of, we have the color palette that's used to advertise it, the white, the red, the green. You scroll through it, they all look the same. They're all packaged very similarly. We have all of the viewing traditions, whether it's Miracle on 34th Street, or It's a Wonderful Life, or The Grinch, or the Rudolph, the animated ones from back in the day, Elf, all the movies, all the TV shows, TV series that have Christmas-themed episodes. We have all of the music, the Mariah Carey, George Michael, the Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, all those fun Christmas songs and that aren't exactly hymns, but they're the spirit of Christmas. We have this cultural spirit of Christmas that isn't necessarily part of the religious world, but it's part of our cultural Christmas holiday season celebration. And there's so many other things that are part of the culture, the spirit of Christmas culture, that I'm not even thinking of, that I know that was running through my mind. And in this moment, I'm not thinking, part of the Christmas parties that we celebrate, the white, it's the gifts, the tree, the Christmas tree, the decorations, the outside and inside decorations, and the ugly sweaters, and so much more. I could probably list more with the cultural than I could with the religious. And with the family, there's overlap. Okay, so let me stop with the checklist. So what that means is we have really three Christmases, three types of Christmas, three types of Christmases in our universe that we tend to deal with, have a relationship with, is the soft way I'm going to put it. We have the religious Christmas, the Christian Christmas, that's a bedrock of churches and Gospel according to Matthew, Gospel according to Luke, the Nativity, all the really religious ones. Sorry, the religious themed Christmas. Keep it at that. And then we have our own personal Christmas that we deal with our family or our loved ones or those within our lives. And then we have our cultural Christmas. That is, everything we do from, last Christmas I gave you my heart. The very next day you gave it away, and Christmas trees and decoration and Christmas caroling and all the things that take place in our society and the little pockets around the country and around the world. And there's a lot of overlap with these three. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they're independent up to themselves. There's overlap, obviously. Our personal Christmas can, be part of the cultural, and it can have part of the religious. And our personal Christmas can sometimes have more of the cultural, not really much of the religious. And our religious Christmas can have a little bit of the other two. And again, I say all of this without any judgment whatsoever. Everything I'm saying is not a critique. Like, oh, it ought to be more this and less that. No, nothing like that. It's just sort of describing what it is we have with our Christmas and holiday season and what that means, sort of like Spider-Man. So when I say Spider-Man, are we talking Peter Parker? Are we talking Gwen Stacy? Are we talking Miles Morales? Are we talking the movies, the current Marvel movies, or the Andrew Garfield ones, or the Tobey Maguire ones? Are we talking cartoons? Are we talking old school comic books with really original tradition Peter Parker origin story with the real original villains in the Rogues Gallery? Same thing with Christmas. When we say it, it's going to have a lot of different notes and beats and things that are going to mean different things to different people. Where am I going with all this? With all this Spider-Verse and Christmas-verse stuff? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot on us to deal with. Like I said, it's draped over us from the moment the Halloween season ends, and it gives birth to the holiday season of Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and other holidays that are in there. It's a lot. It's a lot for people to deal with. I mean, I love it. I really do. I enjoy it a lot. Let me check that. There's a lot that I love about it. There's a lot that means things to me, that are special to me, that are nostalgic to me, or that current present moment connect with me. But it also can be a lot. And it's challenging for a lot of people. It's challenging maybe to find balance between the three types of Christmases that we are draped with from the get-go. It's challenging for people to have a relationship with various parts of what I mentioned about Christmas. It's challenging for people to live up to obligation or rise to a level of joy or make time and space and emotional energy and mental bandwidth to deal with it all. It's challenging for people to perhaps even connect with it. It's challenging for people to make the time and the space and the room in their lives to deal with it or to just go through it. There are challenges for people who have to deal with family things or history or pain or loneliness or grief or loss right now or loss that happened or loss just in general. It's hard to balance it all because we are thrust with so much of it. I mean, I love Spider-Man. I think he's awesome. I think the character's awesome. I think the movies are awesome. Then when it starts to get into some of the multiverse and the various iterations, I mentioned the Gwen Stacy one that my wonderful niece loves, and I still can't remember. I even looked right before I left the house. What is the name of her Spider-Girl character? I forget. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can be really overwhelming. And keeping up with it all, keeping balance with it all, it can be really difficult. So my point in my message is, let's be kind with ourselves. Let's be patient with ourselves. Let's be understanding with ourselves and with others with how difficult and taxing and overwhelming and challenging the vast canvas of multiverse that is this Christmas holiday season, how difficult it can be. So make space for ourselves with love, with kindness, with compassion, with understanding, with grace, with how challenging this holiday season can be. And make space and kindness and love and understanding and compassion with everyone around us. That everyone is going through the holiday season. And I'm going to venture to guess that there's not many people that are 100% at capacity to deal with every single aspect of all the three balances, all the three Christmases, and fully balanced and fully geared up and fully energized and fully mentally and emotionally and physically and spiritually capable and financially capable and time and scheduling capable to go through this entire season without issue, without speed bump, without a challenge, without some sort of internal or external resistance. We're all dealing with our stuff. It's a challenge in many ways for all of us, so make space for that. Hold it with love for ourselves and others. Hold it with compassion. Meet it with kindness. Meet it with patience and with understanding. It's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, just this year alone. Last year at this time, I went to the park. I sat outside in the snow at a table at Heckscher Park with a wooden canopy overhead, and I did two separate videos, about 45 minutes or so each, on the Gospel according to Matthew and the Gospel according to Luke's nativity stories. Full, unpacked, word by word, 100% religious Christmas is what I leaned into. That's where I was in that moment, and that's what I presented for us. This year, and then there are some holidays where I completely forget, like, oh, wow, we just passed Easter or Thanksgiving or Christmas or Mother's or Father's Day, and I never said anything to anybody about the idea that holidays are challenging, so be mindful. Sometimes I don't think of it, and yet this season, already in a couple of messages, and now a full message here, a reminder of care and compassion about how difficult it can be to find balance and space and time and energy and effort and perhaps even motivation to be a part of all that is the holiday season. So some years it's like this and some years it's like that. I'm going to end on this. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Make space for whatever comes to the surface in terms of difficulty and resistance and challenges. Put no pressure on yourself. Do whatever it is that you feel you are able to do. Make space and room for whatever it is you can make space and room for. And whatever you can't, it's absolutely okay. So whether it's ourselves or others, remember that the Christmas verse of the different types and aspects and angles and thrusts and energy and obligations and all of it that come with Christmas, like the gigantic, massive Spider-Verse, it's not easy. And each year brings its own set of challenges. So let's all meet it for ourselves and for each other with space, with love, with compassion, with kindness, and with understanding. We'll do the best we can during this holiday season. Thanks be to God. Amen. Okay, my friends, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for checking out today's video. I do hope that you found today's video in some way, shape, or form fruitful for you. And I wish you nothing but peace and love and fellowship with God as you go forward on your journey, and particularly as you go forward on your holiday journey. If there's anyone that you know out there that's struggling and that you think needs to hear this or would perhaps benefit to know that they are not alone and that it's okay, feel free to share this message with them. All right, that's it. I love you all. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great journey. Ciao, ciao.